Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Gutierrez, and I'm here with my buddy James.
Hello.
And James is a new Mac user. He bought a Mac not too long ago, and he likes it, but wouldn't you say that maybe you're not using it to its fullest potential?
Well, I always thought I was, but then came over here and just saw the things you're doing with yours, and I felt like, what am I missing here? Do I just not have that many things to do on my computer? So,
Well, there is a little bit of that, but as we'll find with this series of videos, is that even for people who, let's say, aren't computer professionals, that aren't doing this stuff like 24/7, like some of us are, like me, there's still a lot of things about the Mac that normal people can take advantage of, that that you don't need to be like a superpower user to do.
oh, okay.
So, what do you want to start with?
Well, the program you always use and I don't even get is Quicksilver.
Okay. Well, Quicksilver at its core, at its most basic, is just an application launcher. So, I mean, Quicksilver runs in the background, and then you type a command, which is usually Control Space, and then it opens up Quicksilver, and then you can launch a program. So that might sound like a lot of work just to open a program, but if you're on the computer a lot, maybe you're typing and you're in the middle of something, you don't want to move your hand and your arm away from the keyboard to the mouse. And I know that sounds silly, but if you can shave like 5 seconds off of launching an application, I mean, over like the course of like years, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's a lot of seconds.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. Okay, so we're gonna install Quicksilver. So I'm just gonna open up Firefox, and we'll see what Quicksilver can do. So we're gonna go to blacktree.com, and you can see right here, Quicksilver, act without doing. That's the motto. So keep that in mind when we're working with this stuff. So just gonna click download, save. Saving it to the desktop. Now I'm just gonna right click open, and it's gonna mount the disk image just like any application. And now we're just gonna drag it into the applications folder. And we're going to click on open, and this is what you're going to see at the beginning. Agree to the license agreement. Okay. At this point, recommended plugins, it's going to ask you if you want to install these plugins, which are basically like additional functionality that you can use it for. So today, we're really only going to install the iTunes module, because all these other things we'll save for another time, and they're kind of beyond the scope of what we're doing here.
Okay.
So we're just going to click that little box right there, and then click continue. And now it's going to install the plugin. Alright. And you can see right here activation. So this is the default command to invoke Quicksilver, and that's just Control Space. So we're just going to leave that the way it is. Catalog update. The way Quicksilver works is it'll scan the programs and different folders that you specify to see if there's any changes. So, like for example, if you installed a new program and it was rescanning the catalog, you install the new program and then it scans in 10 minutes. Then you would be able to launch the program.
Okay.
Because it is updated, its index of what it can launch.
Okay.
So that's what that means. So we're going to just leave that the way it is, and then just click continue, continue, and then finish. And so this is Quicksilver right here, and this is where we're going to be typing, and this is the action box. But the first thing we're going to do is change the look of it, because this doesn't look, I think the other look is way better. So we're just going to go up to Preferences, and then Appearance, and Command Interface we're going to change to Bezel. And now we're going to close this. And now let's invoke Quicksilver by hitting Control Space, and this is what it looks like now. So I think that looks way cooler.
Yeah.
So now that we have it invoked, now we can just start typing the name of a program that we want to launch. So we already have Firefox open, so let's open Safari. So I'm just going to hit S, and already Safari is coming up. So now you can see this box on the right is what it's going to do if you hit enter.
Okay.
So we're going to hit enter, and here's Safari. So that was easy. Let's invoke Quicksilver again, and now let's launch iTunes.
Okay.
So I just hit enter again.
So that second box, all it does is open it, or can it do other things?
Well, it can do other things, actually. If you hit tab, then it'll switch to this box. And these are the list of the options that you get by default. So when you're just dealing with programs, this is not particularly useful.
Oh, okay.
But as we'll see later, you can do more than just launch programs. And that's when some of this functionality will come into play.
Okay.
So the next thing that maybe we should do is deal with our iTunes plugin that we installed when we set up Quicksilver.
Okay.
So I'm going to quit iTunes just so that you can see that you don't need iTunes open in order to use Quicksilver and make it work. So I'm going to invoke it again. And now I'm going to start typing browse for browse artists because that's one of the features that Quicksilver has. Okay, so you can see right here, you can browse by albums, genres, tracks, artists, composers. Yeah. So I'm just using the up and down arrows to go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that we know exactly what artists we're looking for. So we're just going down to browse artists, and then we're using the right arrow key, and we're going to scroll down to cut copy. And keep in mind that if you had the album art in iTunes installed, then this would show up with the album art. So that'll look pretty cool.
Instead of the little picture.
Instead of this little blank picture. So I'm gonna hit the right arrow again, and then it's gonna we want to listen to the In Goes Colors album, and so I'm hitting the right arrow again, using the down arrow to go down to this song, then hitting enter, and you can see over here on the right that's what it's gonna do by default.
Okay.
So, I mean, it opens iTunes, and it didn't actually even put the window up in front. So you were doing all of this, and you're not even interrupted with the iTunes window.
Oh, okay. So you could be like working on an
you
essay
could,
or something.
right? You could be working on something else, and you're just like, oh, okay, I want to hear this song right now. And without moving your mouse, without having to launch iTunes and wait for it to open, you've just immediately gone to the song that you wanted.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.